My name is Matt Assolin. I'm President and CEO of Nikko's Worldwide Chauffeur Services. This is leveraging technology to improve your customer experience and bottom line. First off, we want to thank our education sponsor, Strack, and coffee sponsor, Buffalo Limousine. Just as a reminder, please silence your cell phones. If you need to answer a call, please step out in the hall. We all know how that can be running our businesses. We also want you all to fill out your surveys at the end. This way it helps provide feedback for what's working, what's not working, and we want to hear your thoughts. Today is the last day of the show floor, so come out, support our vendors. Breakfast will be from 11 a.m., and it is also the last day to use your show bucks, so please use those. Okay. I'm joined today by Matt Strack of Strack Ground. He's the CEO. It's a Southern California-based operation. How long have you been in business, Matt?
12 years.
Okay. And you run a fleet, fully diversified fleet, sedans to motor coaches,
sedans
correct?
To motor coaches, that's correct.
Great. I'm also joined by, and I'll say it, one of my dearest friends in the industry, Reza Choudhury, CEO of HYRYDE, Reliance Worldwide, based in London. How many years have you been?
15 years now.
15 years, wow, geez. And you run everything from sedans up to buses, correct?
Yeah.
And again, I'm Matt Assolin. I'm President and CEO of Nikko's Worldwide. We're based in Houston and Austin. We run everything from sedans up to buses. I'm also a board member of the TLPA and vice chair of the Government Relations Committee for GBTA. So I get around. So today we crafted this session wanting to talk about how we can utilize technology, and this is not going to be a commercial for anyone. Today we want to talk about how we can use technology to generate better customer service, more money in your pocket, more revenue, and creative ways of how we can continue to bridge technology. As we all know, our industry's been a little bit behind in the technology front, and we're getting there, and I think that we're making some great progress, but how do we take, in a grander scheme of things, the technology pieces that aren't just industry specific, how can we utilize those to leverage our presence? So Reza, you have been instrumental in utilizing promo codes with your clients. Promo codes can lead to, it can help generate rides in your slow times. It can and do quite a few things. How have you effectively utilized promo codes?
Firstly, we looked at the marketplace, see what the larger companies were doing. Not just in the operators or the limo companies. We're looking at Amazon, Facebook, Salesforce even the larger operators adopting promo codes. It's something that we weren't doing, but we were just looking at companies and why they were doing those promo codes initiatives. And I decided through the company, we got together and we said, you know what, why don't we try this? Because we've got nothing to lose, we don't have a huge team. And then we put something together, we said, we'll get a few of our clients, and we interviewed a couple of the clients, and even affiliate managers in the US market, and we asked them, if we was to offer you during slow peak times, or even give us most sales through the business, what can we give you back? And we come up with these promo codes that, look, if we not dropped our prices, but if we said, if you book 5 rides with us, can we give you 1 back to create some sort of loyalty to the people that we work with? And most of the clients were very excited by that, because it's something that we weren't offering as operators. So we initiated a team through internally, and it's worked very well for us, because not only the codes that were sent via email or through the systems that we work through, it generated new business for us. because those codes were sent through their own networks that they work with. So it's benefited a great deal, and we're still working on that today.
Have you found that you've been able to not just generate new business during your slow times, but actual new corporate business that you didn't have before?
Originally, we had new prospects that came to us that we could not access before because they wanted to know who we were, first of all. We're not a large company, but they liked the idea that we were doing something different. It wasn't all about pricing. It was about giving. And that's what most of the clients resonated with us. And we're continually pursuing that because we never thought about giving back. It was all about, I said to Matt before, we always take a lot. We want all the rides. We want to maximize as many rides as we can, but we decided to go the other way. Let's give something back to our clients, to our affiliate managers and operators that we work with, because we treat all of our operators as clients. We don't just look at them as another operator and then we're doing affiliation work. So as a company, our ethos has changed, and we're continually evolving into what's happening in the industry and the trends that are changing through. So we're adopting lots of change, and we want to evolve because we want to stay in the market because we enjoy what we do. And we look continually at other companies, I personally do, see what other companies are adopting changes through hotels, through airlines, for the trade shows that we go to. And there are really cool stuff out there that we can pick up and integrate within our own operations. And it is a simple task to do, but we don't think about it enough. So, yes, it's worked very well for us.
Strack, what's your thoughts?
You know, we do a lot of business to business, so I'm not really that, with retail facing doing promo codes. So I'm more apt to look at the customer loyalty programs that your softwares are going to offer. So the customer loyalty programs to the executive assistants, which shows statements of how many trips they've booked, or maybe to the passengers, key passengers. So that's the direction that we're moving, and not so much on the promo codes.
To which then, when they allocate enough points, they can utilize a type of promo code off on their next ride or something like that.
Right, just like the airline loyalty programs and credit card, if depending on what credit cards you have. But I think that, when you're dealing with business to business executive assistants, they see value in that.
Yeah, no, and I agree. So I'll tell you, my perspective has changed. My sales team for years has said, so we're also in we're in the Houston and Austin market, and Austin has very high peaks and very low valleys in terms of revenue. And my sales team used to tell me, during December we should, run specials and stuff like that, and reach out to clients, and hey, if you can book this bus for us, like our DMC clients and tour operators, 20% off. And I'm like, look, guys, I think that's a race to the bottom. I think that, it cheapens your brand. Well, so we've been going along with that mindset. Well, this past year, my mindset completely changed. I saw this past summer buying trends completely changed. Our business, and I'm happy to share this, our business was flat during the summer, July through about August 15th. For about 45 days, and I was like, where is the growth, And I think that promo codes, I think buying patterns are changing in our industry. I think you find more people taking off time during the summer. Corporate travel slows down much more incrementally than it did before. I think that promo codes are a way to maybe step up usage and get your fleet utilized during the slow times as well. So I'm actually now, Reza brought this idea to me, and he sold it. I'm a big believer in it. I think promo codes, it generates a lot of hype, right? I mean, if you can get it to the right people, to maybe a corporate travel manager who says, hey, all your travelers for the month of July, if they utilize our service, and if you're competing against, if there's two services in an account and you're competing against someone else and you're offering them a 15% discount that the company B isn't offering them, you might be apt to get more buy-in during those slow times, and then during the busy times, they continue to use you if you can wow them on the service. So I think it's definitely a great value proposition. Anything else? No? Good. So let's continue on. So I'm a big believer in data transparency. I think that transparency to our clients is paramount. The data that lives in our system is really our clients' data when it comes to reporting, when it comes to expense management, all those kinds of intricate, unique things, but also data import, data export for groups and events management has become huge. It's become a big time saver for my people to put large amounts of rides into the system with doing very few things. Strack, we talked about this. What are you really utilizing in your software, and specific examples of how this is saved time, it's gotten responses back to clients quicker? Go ahead.
Sure. When you're doing a group or a large program, the data import's a big feature that everybody should have in their software. It saves a ton of time, like you're saying. One of the big things that I like to pitch to the clientele is that, you can add, email addresses that then you can tie to the care alerts, which are a big deal for maybe departures, people changing their times of when they want to leave. So that's a real service to the client, to the group manager, if they have a large departure list and each of them are getting emails from your database of reminder, 24-hour reminder on your trips. So that's a big deal that I like to put in there as well. You can add it in phone numbers and a bunch of information that you can kind of, depending on your software, create yourself, meeting procedures, landmarks, things like that too. But going back to like the other side of it, the data import, you should be able to take data out of your software, your database. And if you had an analyst, there's even software out there by Microsoft called BI that you could utilize, and you can compile this data and you can find out when your slow times are, right? Like you could kind of try and define patterns, and I think that's something that really isn't, where you're touching, Matt, which really is the capability of your data export, to be able to manipulate the data and use it to your advantage. And I think that's really the value on that feature.
Yeah, no. So we moved software last year. So we've been live with our current software for about 13 months now. So we've been able to do 4 great things with this software. And I'm not going to mention it. You guys can go out and investigate software. I'm not pitching any software, but these are the things that we've been able to drive efficiently. One, we're able to, actually, I should say, every month we export our data for our own internal use. We export, it's about a 30-column width spreadsheet, every ride. So, we have 4,000 rides a month. So, you can imagine it's a huge spreadsheet. But we start utilizing the data to figure out how many times are we upgrading a sedan into an SUV? How many times are we upgrading a 32-passenger minibus to a larger size minibus because we're out of 32-passenger minibuses? How many times did we miss driver requests? So, again, it goes back to service. Our clients in our industry want to feel pampered, right? That's the name of the game in the chauffeur car business. So if I can't meet every request that my clients are demanding of us, then we have a problem. So we're looking at, okay, chauffeur 132 didn't get 2 of his requests this month. Let's find out why. Maybe he was off, maybe he was sick, but we want to make sure that we can meet every single request. It also gives us data for where most of our pickups, where's the least amount of our pickups. So maybe do we need to readjust some of our rates? It's an incredible tool to be able to pull your data, sort it, and look at your trends and figure out and start really fine-tuning your businesses to become very efficient. The second way we're utilizing data import and export is group manifests, like Matt said. We do a ton of group work in Austin, sometimes 100, 200 arrivals, all going to the same hotel, set up the spreadsheet. Within a matter of 10 minutes, I have 200 rides in our system. Think about the man hours it saves of having to not manually enter 200 rides. You set up a spreadsheet, it goes in, and it's good to go. Likewise, we can download manifests much quicker, give to our clients in a sortable Excel format. We can give it to them in PDF format. We had a client ask for a Word doc for manifest the other day. We told them, Yeah, that we're not going to do. We're not doing Word docs. But it gives the client the ability to receive data quicker. And number 4, we give all of our clients a data dump of their own data for corporate travel managers at the end of the month so that they can analyze their spend. They can upload it to Concur. They can see, Jim Smith has 45 minutes of wait time every single pickup that he's got. Hey, you know what, Mr. Smith, you need to adjust your pickup time or get your ass up earlier and into the car and stop costing this company money. So we use it for a variety of things to help, again, streamline and make the operation efficient. Anything? No?
You said it.
So communication, this is going to be a big topic for us. We've started, I think, Matt, have you used ZipWhip?
No, I haven't
You're
deployed.
on
We use Google. No, we use Google Voice.
Google Voice.
Yeah, which is free.
Okay. Well, so, there's one big player in this, I guess he does get Dan gets a little mention, but ZipWhip integrates with most technology softwares. It makes your landline a textable, number, so if you can tie it in with your system, it sends out alerts from your own telephone number. It's a great tool. People, I've heard firsthand from clients say, I actually knew who was texting me. I didn't get some random number that was generated in the air. I actually knew, hey, this is a Nikko's number, and I can call it, and it becomes familiar for them. It's super important, right? I don't know about you all, but I've been getting spam text messages like crazy. So getting a number that you recognize texting you, I think is huge. So ZipWhip, if you're not on it, I suggest you get on it. It's a little expensive, but it definitely will recoup costs. Facebook Messenger. I haven't been a big believer in Facebook for our industry. I think it's great for some, parts of it. But then my thinking changed. And so about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'm on my phone, and all of a sudden I get a Facebook message pop up from our company page. Hey, I want more. Hey, I'd like more info on your buses. I'm like, okay. I'm trying to figure out what. Okay, and so I replied, what info you would like. Well, make a long story short, an hour-long text conversation turned into like a $1,900 bus job booking for a wedding in Austin. We are going to start integrating more and more Facebook messaging activities with our reservation staff, and I found out that you can have multiple chats going on at one time, right, with just one reservationist. So you're now able to have, essentially, instead of being only able to talk to one person on the phone at a time, if you have multiple chats going on, it's essentially multiple conversations going on at one time that can be facilitated by 1-2 people where you don't have to have a huge call team. I'm not saying that we're going to push all of our business onto Facebook Messenger by any means, but it's a new opportunity and it's a new way to gain more business to fill rides in your vehicles. Slack. So Slack is a very interesting subject. Reza, why don't you tell us about how you have integrated Slack into your operation?
Okay. I don't know, how many people use Slack here? Okay, so the people that are using it probably are loving the actual program that it's there. I can see you guys smiling. Facebook, first of all, I'm going back to Facebook messaging. I'm not a big fan of Facebook or messaging. However, it's a fantastic tool for communication. What we're doing is integrating an API through Facebook Messaging to bring it into Slack. So we don't want too many messaging channels coming in to our organization because it's all about managing the process. Slack is a fantastic tool for messaging, creating groups, departmental groups, reaching out to your chauffeurs, reaching out to your managers, all on one app. And it's also a desktop app as well. As managers and owners of the business, we can't get to every single member of the team when you're sending out tasks. for them to do. We can't have a meeting after meeting after meeting, and we decided some of our meetings are not very productive. So we wanted to analyze a way of how do we manage the process of the teams that are doing the tasks they were given. What are the indicators out there? Are they doing that job properly? Is there a deadline? Are they meeting them? So rather than having these meetings, we moved into this new technology, and it's worked wonders for us. You can see who's performing, who's not performing, who needs the help, and why they're not performing. And that's when we create our internal meetings to say why we're not doing certain things. Slack is a communication tool. It's like a WhatsApp. We used to use WhatsApp. We moved away from that because I wanted more of a business tool. We use WhatsApp for our drivers and our chauffeurs to communicate through, because that's what chauffeurs and drivers are used to, but we moved away from that because we really wanted to see what they were doing. And if there were meetings, for example, if we're at a hotel, we wanted to know, even though we all have GPSs and tracking systems, yes, the car's there, but is the actual chauffeur in the actual lobby itself waiting with a name board for a customer? We don't know that because there's no visibility there. Slack has helped us to do that. Because what we do is, like, if there's any VIPs that come through and we really want to know the chauffeur's there and he's looking smart, the car looks great, we conference that call in, a video conferencing. Slack has a video conferencing tool where you can just press a button, send a message, and say, right, are you at the lobby? We're going to Zoom you in. It's called Zoom. The video conferencing is called Zoom, which is part of Slack. And we know what the chauffeur looks like. He's got the name board, he's got everything that he needs. It now gives a real visibility of the chauffeur being where he needs to be. Departmental meetings we now do through Slack. We conference call in. We have different sites in London. We have a sales team that are in London, the operations just outside London. And if I want to get to the sales team, I don't have to travel into London to see the guys. I can just conference call them in, drop documents in, work on RFPs. It creates so much efficiencies within the organization that our bottom line, as we talk about, is created a huge bottom line for us. So we don't have to travel as much. And that adoption came through our own clients. So when we look at our own clients, they're also using technology of this sort. They're conferencing continually. Yes, travel is very important, but when you want a task done, we found that Slack was the best tool for us. And our sales team, I know with API, the Salesforce programs, and most people here that use Salesforce, that also is integrated to Slack. So when you have a pipeline of sales coming through, and we're going to quickly communicate with the person that you're speaking to, you can do that through Slack. Because I believe that's the new customer service. Because more and more want messages real time. They don't want emails, because emails take too long. And we're moving away from that, because we've seen a trend that a new customer service is fast. We need that information quickly. We want to talk to each other quickly. Even now, I can guess amongst the room, you're messaging each other right across the rooms. That's what we do. That's the new habits that we've installed within ourselves. And if it is those habits, then we need to adopt them into our businesses, because all of our consumers and our corporate clients are using those information tools. And for us, we introduced that this year alone, and it's created a huge efficiency within the organization. We can do more, we can do things faster, and we can get to our clients quickly. And working on RFPs, if I wanted to work with somebody in, say for example, in New York, and we had a New York RFP that we worked on, but I can't travel to New York every month, it's costly. But through Slack, we did all of our RFP through Slack messaging and video conferencing. It helped a great deal, and we could share all of our communication tools very, very quickly, because information is required fast. So it's been a great benefit for us.
Yeah, we use Slack for our 2 offices. So we needed something that could create seamless communication between 2 offices 175 miles away from each other. So Houston and Austin can talk to each other seamlessly. We have a dispatch notes on handoff. Dispatch handoff notes on Slack. We have a reservations group in Slack. We have general group in Slack. We have a managers group in Slack, where we can all have conversations within group facilitated think to where we can start making decisions much more quickly without one person text the other or do a group text and, oh, this person's not in that group, and then, oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, now we got to start all over and get a new idea going. I mean, Slack has been, for us, actually a very great tool that has cut down our time to be able to communicate just within our own organization. The one thing I'm going to tell you guys about Slack that I learned the hard way, make sure you have an admin control on it. And this is really any type of instant messaging system, because we found 3 reservationists had decided to make their own little Mean Girls club on Slack, and were tearing everyone down in the office. When we found them, out, get out of here, all 3 of you. I mean, it was terrible, the things they were saying. I mean, terrible things. And so make sure, though, that you have admin controls set on whatever type of system you're using to make sure that if you want to let people make their own groups, great, but be able to monitor them, right? Or don't allow people to make their own groups. So one word of caution, personal experience. That was painful. Strack, you've taken Slack to another little realm, which is integrating it to your website for client-facing. So tell us about that. How has that helped? I think we're all familiar with chatbots, right? You know, chatbots are this new thing where, you know, programmable type of chat that can, you know, intuitively answer questions. But this is more of instant messaging, correct?
Yeah, so let me jump back to Slack real quick. So Slack will integrate with 1,500 apps. In the world of apps these days, you guys can find an app for everything, right? So it's kind of like you get a little bit lost with all the apps you have going on, and Slack really can integrate a lot of those things. So one of the things that we've done is integrated the live chat that's on our website. So if you have a live chat, it's actually called Live Chat is the brand, but there's multiple live chats out there. Help Scout, Live Chat Now. But with live chat, we've integrated with Slack through actually a company called Zapier, and Zapier is another company that integrates and plugs in a lot of companies that maybe the APIs aren't working with. So take a look at Zapier, Zappier. So with Slack, what it will do is as a chat comes on the website, it'll communicate into what we have a hashtag live chat bot. So it'll come into the group, and then anybody on Slack can then see, oh, somebody's on the website looking to chat. On the live chat website, or the live chat portal, which is also a desktop version, we actually run it as a ticketing system. So you have a ticketing system that comes in, it shows you when somebody's on the website, it shows you where they're located, if they've had information they've filled out, or if you've integrated live chat with maybe Facebook, you can see the demographic. Is it a male, is it a female, what age are they, right? So you can get a lot of information when people visit your website. And then you can even use that information to then send emails to after. So the live chat's great. We've actually been, I mean, you'll book, if you deploy it, you'll book right from the chat bot. People will get on and they'll start to chat with you and go, yeah, great, you guys have a car available this Friday, I'm looking to go to dinner. Like, start to finish, credit card, everything, you'll get booked right on the live chat. And people just want less friction. On top of that, you can integrate it with Facebook Messenger, which we've done. You can integrate it with the Instagram direct message, which we've done. So now you have an aggregate spot where you can see all messaging coming to your site or through social media channels to be able to communicate. And then you can deploy a chatbot. So what's a chatbot? It's automated. You can give it a bunch of data, have it answer certain questions like rates on a bus or amenities on a sedan.
And it's all through keywords in the question,
hashtags.
right? So you have to define the keywords in the questions to generate these answers.
There's a bunch of setup that you can do, but I mean, I'm not sure any of us would need this, but it can handle up to 500 chats simultaneously. And then if it gets stumped, it then kicks it to a live chat person that's, in your office. So instead of answering some, mundane questions about, your service level or, are your cars black or something like that, it could handle that. And then it will kick it out when somebody gets into a really, in-depth conversation of maybe a rate structure, an over the road trip on a bus or something like that. So it's it's been real helpful, and I think, my strategy is what can I do to make it easier for clients to book with us, and I think by doing that, it's really, it's just less friction. Less friction equals more business, I think.
Are you finding that the amount of chats you are doing at one time is increasing?
It depends on, you'll see it like, they'll kind of trickle in late at night or whatnot, but during the day you'll see them come up, and I think you can set each agent to handle up to like 5, 6 chats, however what you feel comfortable with. So you can monitor that, but you're going to see it tick. If there's like an event going on, or if you're really promoting something to your website, once you key it into your the back end on the HTML code, basically, if you actually are able to create landing pages on your website platform, every page will have this chatbot on it. So you could then, you might be answering a landing page for the World Series that might be coming up. You might get a lot of volume on it. But then you can also download the app, and then you can monitor and chat if you're away. So that's kind of a really cool feature too, both live chat and
now you showed me one. Now you can also, it's mobile friendly too, right? So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So you log in. I could jump into the queue right now with the office and start chatting if I wanted to. You could also turn it off and then it has a dashboard. You can monitor how many chats have come in, how many tickets are open, what's the response time to the tickets that you have. It's really robust. And again, the live chat integrates with Salesforce, Zoho, Slack. All of these apps are like aggregates. You can just pair them up with everything else that you might be using, which is really the key. Just funnel it all to one location.
Well, data, right? Data is huge. The more data you have, the smarter you are. That's essentially what I believe. You can make better decisions with more data. So Absolutely. If you're aggregating the data into a CRM, then you're able to make much better decisions about, anything really. Targeting, marketing, targeted marketing, email campaigns, any type of new initiatives that you want to do, finding out your demographics. One of my demographics is my customers are too old. My father started the business 36 years ago. I'm trying to get new clients, meaning younger clients, and which is working, but it was a real problem we had when we found out in our CRM a few years ago. It's like, damn, our clients are old. Why am I keep going to funerals? And so, I've been to like 3 funerals in like 3 months. This is not good. So, so we knew that, and we were able to take data like that and see, okay, let's target the different audiences. Let's make sure that we're doing the right things.
Let me jump in real quick. One of the other cool things, instead of having it on your website, you could do is put it in your signature. So you can put a little box on your signature that says live chat, chat now, right? So just think about you send a receipt to somebody and they may have a question or whatnot. They can click right on your signature or right on that receipt, and it would go right into the live chat. And that's from an email, right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be on the website. So it's kind of a nice feature that you can have where you're readily available, right? Your service.
Yeah, it's slick, very slick. So one thing you guys done with Slack? You think, we're good? All right. So one thing I just learned about was Yammer. So Yammer, to give a 50,000-foot overview, is essentially the Facebook for corporations. So it's a Microsoft product. It is very robust. Again, you can create groups, you can create unique profiles. They have, it's essentially like going on Facebook, but for your own company. So if I'm in, McDonald's, right? I'm in the McDonald's travel department. I can go into my Yammer, I can see everything about McDonald's, employees, the internal employees. It's not for external users. But, we have had success with Yammer, us personally, and then I'll turn it over to Reza. We make sure that all of our travel policies and information with our corporate clients, they deploy, if they are on Yammer, they deploy it on Yammer. And the reason why is so that this way, if the executive assistant to the VP of sales is looking for a car service, making sure that she goes through travel policy and finds us to book that car with us. So if maybe one of the investigative things that you're doing in the sales process or in account management is finding out, do you have a Yammer? Okay, great, you have a Yammer. Would you put our literature, being that we're an approved vendor for your corporation, put our literature on Yammer so that people can essentially find us, learn about us, and have a way to know how to contact us. That's where Yammer has really been a good key thing for us. But Reza, you have a little different take on Yammer as well.
Yeah, I mean, Yammer, first of all, everybody here, you use Microsoft 365. We all do it. And there are so many tools within Microsoft that we're not utilizing or we don't know about. We just don't know about it because we're just used to emailing one another because that's what we know. One of our corporate clients was sending messages through Yammer, and I didn't know what it was. She said, "You've got Yammer. It's not it's an internal product." I said, "What is it?" And they said, "We send all of our messaging through Yammer and our documentations, and also have meetings through Yammer as well." So we looked into it and thought, "Wow, that's a very awesome tool." It is a very awesome tool. So we learned more about Yammer. Then I decided, because of Slack, can we integrate Slack and Yammer together to get the corporates to communicate with us even faster? Because we've noticed most of our customers, for example, Oracle, they don't send us emails, they send messaging. They have a directive within their organization globally. They don't want to email. They want to do a messaging tool like Yammer, like Slack, WhatsApps, whatever those messaging tools are to communicate through that forum. Then I noticed maybe emails are going away in the next future, and it is. Millennials are now using messaging tools. And that's what intrigued me. So, well, we need to use Yammer. We need to find out more about new messaging tools because we want to gear up for the next generation. Because today's generation are not, they're using emails, but they're moving away from that. So we looked at the demographic in the next 3 to 5 years. Everybody's going to be using some sort of messaging tool. And if we are going to be doing that, then we have to gear up for that. So we have to train people internally through customer servicing, because we don't like everyone messaging because we think they're not working, but they actually are. That's the new form of customer servicing. So we're adopting change because this is what corporates are doing. And Yammer is the key element that made us do what we're doing. That's why we went into Slack. And once we integrate that, the corporates will, in a way, are happier to communicate with us because it's quick. If we're not adopting what they're doing, then we're falling behind. So you're right, Yammer is one of the fastest Microsoft tools out there. It's free if you've got Microsoft 365. So if the tools are there, we should use them and connect as much as possible. I know Matt mentioned connectivity between 1,500 apps through Slack. Not every app is going to work for you. You have to identify what's worked for your organization. So take what's there, connect all the communication tools out there, and make your business more technologically front, to make more efficiencies. And everything's new to us right now at the moment, because let's be honest, we're like dinosaurs, some of us here. So we're also learning as well. But I look at my own children and see what they're doing. And they are into technology. You know, you have to watch what they're doing. And we need to adopt a lot of this information, not just quickly, but we can do this organically. Try a little bit doing it, because that's what we've done. We've tried an application. It didn't work for us. We tried another application. It didn't work for us. It was very frustrating for the teams within. But now we're at a point that everybody loves what we do. It's fast, it's quick, and we are winning new business and new prospects. Mentioned about the live chat. If you don't have a live chat on your website, I'm telling you right now, you need to have one. I don't have it right now, but I'm putting one in because we need to integrate with our sales teams, with our CS teams, because that's how we communicate. That's how we buy everything now, through live chat. We don't like to talk to anybody anymore. Nobody wants to pick up the phone and say, "Hi, can you send me a brochure?" They do it online. "Hi, can you send me something about yourselves?" And through live chat, you can connect your sales teams, your CS teams, your operational teams, so whoever it derives to, send that quick message to them, and then they will act on it very, very quickly. So that's why it's important that Yammer is one of the key elements that's helped us to get into technology as much as possible to make things more efficient.
That's great, thank you. Let's go next. So, driver scheduling software. Originally, this wasn't going to be in our presentation, but I just had a recent experience that made me decide that, guess what? Hey, I saved $3,000 on my next unemployment tax liability. So, decided to put this in here. Pardon me. Pardon me. So we implemented a driver scheduling software about 6 months ago, and it was crucial. You know, you got to get people to buy in. You got to get your drivers to buy into it. You got to get your dispatchers to buy into it. It makes sure. It's really a great tool, getting off of the old pen and paper method of a driver putting in for, oh, I need off next Thursday, puts in a request, and then the paper gets lost on the dispatcher's desk, or it never gets filled out, and then he's expecting to be off, but you have him on the schedule, and then you got to start farming out rides. So I was like, enough of this. And so we went to a driver scheduling software. We went to the industry one here. You can find them on the show floor. And so we started deploying it, and we found out it creates an incredible amount of efficiency. You gotta have one that's robust enough as well that can track many things. And so I made that joke as I was coughing, but we recently had a chauffeur quit from us, and she decided to file an unemployment claim, saying that we wrongfully terminated her. Well, what was happening was she was refusing trips. So, oh no, I can't do that trip. Oh no, I can't do that trip. And we were able to document every time she declined a reservation to take. We gave that to the labor board. We estimate that, if she had won that unemployment claim, it would have cost us about $3,000 to $4,000 next year on our unemployment, the unemployment tax that you pay quarterly based upon your wages. So it's a huge savings for us, and essentially is 3x of what we pay for the software. So Matt, you had, and I'll come back to, a little bit more of a high-level view, but Matt, you had some interesting thoughts on driver scheduling software just from this show, correct?
Yeah, I think, first of all, driver scheduling is the biggest pain in the ass in our business, right? It's just, oh my God, we could sit here forever to talk about it.
I should put a shrink on staff for my dispatchers for driver scheduling.
Yeah, all the things that you're saying, I think it's great. I think some of the software solutions actually will have some training modules in it too, and that's pretty awesome, along with office training and time clock solutions as well. I think where you're going to see in the next year, first, second quarter, you'll see some of these companies that will auto-populate packets of trips, and then they'll integrate with driver scheduling, so that by the click of a button, you'll see packets based on proximity, efficiency, and a driver's schedule. So I like where we're going with this, because I think it's desperately needed. So I'm looking forward to seeing kind of the evolution of it here in the next year. But huge value.
Well, especially if you're going and turning on some type of auto dispatch system, obviously the data you feed into the system is what's going to create your best schedule, right? So if you don't have the proper data set up initially, like scheduling or requests, or this passenger can't take an SUV upgrade or anything like that, then your auto dispatch isn't going to work. And if we're moving into more of an automated type of space where automated dispatching is something that you're looking into, driver scheduling is huge, because you got to know what drivers to put on the schedule. We did our research. We found that the software that we went is best tailored to our industry. Again, it depends on the type of operation that you run, and all the little intricacies that go into it. There are probably 10 or 20 driver scheduling softwares out there for trucking, for bus, for, if you're running a bus company, you're going to need something much more robust that, includes hours of service and DOT certifications and managing DOT drivers and things like that. For us, being that we're more chauffeur car heavy, we needed something a little bit more chauffeur car industry specific. The key points that you want to make sure when you're selecting a software like this: make sure it has availability, web-based, app-based, make sure you have admin controls, make sure that it's dynamic, make sure that people can change things, make sure you can lock things down where they can't change things, tracking permits, licenses, trainings, time clock feature. We pay by the hour. We're a W-2 shop. All of our chauffeurs can clock in when they, it's actually a cool feature. They have to be logged in to our Wi-Fi network that we pre-establish, so they can't just clock in from their house. That's not going to work. When they come in to pick up a car, they clock in, they log into their phone picks up our Wi-Fi, and then they log in to the app. They sign. They clock in for work. So makes it very slick, but also security enabled. And again, the thing you want most out of any type of software is being able to document things, any type of things, whether it's service incidents, whether it's refusals, whether it's compliments, right? I mean, we don't talk about that enough. Hey, John Smith today was phenomenal. Got a call from Miss Adams that said, he was the best chauffeur that she's had ever. You want to be able to track as much data as you can. Again, going back and making best decisions for your company. Anything else? So this is an interesting one to talk about. We have dynamic pricing and diversifying your passengers. So we know we've talked, a little bit about dynamic pricing at this show at State of the Industry. When you think about it, when you boil it down, we really do dynamic pricing, right? I mean, we have holiday surcharge. We have special event pricing for whether it's Super Bowl or the Masters or NBA Finals, whatever it might be. Different charges for, a limo on a Friday night versus a Thursday night. Those are all really examples of dynamic pricing. But Matt, you have a very interesting view on dynamic pricing that I would love to hear about.
All right. You're right. I think, we do it at a very basic form, whether it's a late night fee or a holiday surcharge, which your system should be automatically capturing. I think the real value in it, and it's kind of pie in the sky what some of the developers, if there's any in the room, or software companies should be looking at, is how do we look at our inventory a week out, and then based on maybe a certain amount of trips of, if it pulls 20 trips, and if that's not enough for you, it starts to then discount the pricing. And as you start moving closer to that date, and then it sees that, your capacity is at 75%, it brings the pricing up. And then again at 90%, kind of like a surge pricing, but dynamic. So it's moving, it's trying to fill, just like the airlines do, obviously like Uber, Lyft do. But our system should be dynamic and being able to really capture a better way, a more thorough way of really figuring out what is our load and what is our efficiency, and trying to maximize that based on supply and demand.
Well, that's on a fleet utilization model, right? So we want our fleet, as much utilized as possible to be able to create the best ROI in our company, right? Best bottom line. But, obviously we don't want to discount it too much, because then, you don't want to take 1,000 rides and lose $1 on every ride, then you just losing money. But sure, creating the proper specific revenue streams where, when you're 20%, when you only have 20% utilization on the on the board, yeah, those rides are discounted, but when you have 90% utilization on the board, those marked up rides are making up for much more of what you're getting back on the discounted rides, correct?
That's right. And you know, some of the softwares can do like days of the week, which is great because if you're usually busier on Fridays or Saturdays, if you're retail, you know, it could kick in that bump. So, you know, some of the stuff is doing it, but I feel like our industry as a whole should be a bit more comprehensive and you know, have some type of algorithm that could really sell it. And a lot of it goes right down to your form on your website. I mean, people log on your website, they can get pricing right then and there, and you know, it would be predictive. So there, you might even pull the data of how many people are looking for sedans on, you know, December 23rd for the holiday, you know, and it can maybe figure that, oh wow, we're getting a lot of results. Let's go ahead and bring up a higher pricing model.
So Reza, we've had a long conversation. I know you've been very successful diversifying your passenger. I would say passenger in air quotes. Tell us about, you know, utilizing what you have in place to bring in a different revenue stream.
Okay, it started off with one of our, the idea came from one of our roadshow clients. Before we picked them up from the airport, and you always get the EA or the PA saying, look, you need to pick up a few documents from the actual office before you go and pick up the executive, because you need to hand them over. And we used to always do that, just for the sake of doing it on the hourly rate, because it's all grouped in. And then you should go and pick them up. And then the EA used to always say, can you quickly come back to the office and pick up a box of brochures, investment reports. He needs to go to a certain meeting. We also did that in the hourly price, because dropped the customer off, went back to the office, picked him up, and went to the meetings. And something dawned on me, and I thought to myself, how are we charging for that? Why is it on the hourly rate? This is a complete different service. It's actually a courier service. Why are we not charging as a courier product, like you would as FedEx, UPS, on a same-day service? And then again, I'll send a survey out to all of our customers, and we said, we use the same sort of technology. You put the passenger name in. It's A to B on your software. Again, we create a new price for that element of that parcel delivery. Then I said to myself, look, why don't we just do that? Why don't we just create a miniature type courier company within the same software, and go into one of our two customers, a regular customer, that we can say to them, look, what if we moved all your packages around for your investment reports? I said, that's a fantastic idea. Well, how are you going to do that? And we said, look, we can do that. We can use, within the UK, we can use our own drivers to do that. So we put the initiative in place. Now for all of our roadshows, if any documents that need picking up from A to B, we charge for that. And it won't be a charge that you're going to charge, say, $100 for the ride, or the hourly rate, which is $80 an hour, whatever that is. Charge something, because you create that pricing, because they're not aware of that pricing should be in your markets. And that has created additional revenue for us very, very quickly. Because now we differentiate, we say, right, and if it's a surcharge, you add it as a surcharge, but it's a surcharge package, whatever you want to call it. Then we went one step further. International roadshows. Because you know those roadshows carry on from one city to another city to another country to another country. We did another survey with our customers. How many documents or parcels do you send to that meeting? Because if they're meeting investors in that specific city, they might be meeting 5, 10. Those investors don't want to run around on the airplane with a box of brochures in their arms. And that's what they're doing. They're actually checking those in with themselves. If you get the information from the EAs and PAs, they'll tell you that's what they're doing. And I said to them, look, you know when the roadshow's happening, we can sign up to FedEx, UPS, DHL, the bigger carriers that are out there, set up an account. Why don't we deliver those documents to that city, to that meeting point, to that hotel? Because we know the executive's going to arrive at that hotel. So when he gets to the hotel, goes to the concierge, says, look, has a parcel's been delivered for me? They say, yes, there's your documentation for your meetings. And we went that one step further, and we created a new pricing grid for that. So again, for that one roadshow, we've, in percentage terms, we've gone up by 400% on just charging out, because you create the pricing. And it's worked a miracle for us. And that's how we've diversified into the package delivery or the document delivery. Because you don't have to do all of it, you just do that bespoke service for the roadshow departments. When you offer it out to the rest of the EAs and PAs, they suddenly think that you're a courier company. You still use the same technology, because you're not changing anything. All you're changing is the dynamics of what you're moving. You're not moving a passenger, you're moving a document. So the best thing about a document, it doesn't talk back at you. So, you don't have to worry about all the problems that you have with a passenger. So, and it's, for me and for us as an organization, it was an easy business to do, because all the efficiencies are done by UPS, FedEx, and DHL. You get all the tracking reports. So the full transparency is there for them. So you can just send the link, cut and paste the link, and send it over to them. So they know if the package is delayed or stuck somewhere, or it's been delivered. It's peace of mind for them. But you're managing the entire process as a customer service team. And that's what identifies you as a USP for your organization. And it's helped us a great deal. And they will always come back to you and say, look, this is the company that will resolve our solutions for us. Because we always had a problem, two dynamics. The EAs had to worry about two things at the same time. But now he or she or the person doesn't have to worry about that anymore. So it's worked for us greatly.
That's great. It's wonderful. 400%. Damn. Matt, tell us what you're doing about crowdsourcing.
A lot of the softwares now are offering the ability to have you create kind of a shuttle style pricing model, right? So then you can kind of put a group, like for instance, in Southern California, a large event that goes on is Coachella. So if I wanted to create a bus from, say, Los Angeles to Coachella, and then a return trip at the end of the event, you could put together a shuttle type pricing website with a form that would then price it on a per trip or per passenger basis. So that's something that a lot of the new softwares are doing, and as we grow our bus business and more of us get into it, it should be something that we're looking at doing as well. I think it's something that, it's kind of like the model of, what's the software that's doing it? You don't really see much around anymore, but I'm blanking on it. Anyways, so yeah, I think that's kind of new and exciting to be able to do that, and we're going to look at doing it, whether you can do it to football games, you can do it to events, you can do it to concerts, and just selling on a per trip, per seat basis.
Right, it's wonderful. So now we'll open up for any questions. There are mics going around.
No, yeah.
Don't be scared. Come on, ask a question. Yeah, and yeah, please wait for a mic because the session is being recorded. So.
Hi guys, great session
hey,
so
Sammy.
far. Thank you.
Hey, Sammy.
Just a quick question regarding dynamic pricing. How do you guys see that playing out over the next couple of years, and how would you go about applying it a little bit further?
I couldn't really get that. I couldn't really get
Yeah,
what you're saying.
could you pull it away a little bit from your mouth, Sammy?
You don't have to eat it.
Sure, okay. So my question was, how would you go about applying dynamic pricing on a step-by-step basis? Because you talked about wanting to apply it, but how would you go about that as an operator?
So how would you implement it, correct? And so, for me, I think it's so we do a lot of event business. So we've really trained our clients already that during citywide events, during special events, prices may go up. You may have an inflated price, you'll still get your discount, but the inflated price, and we kind of explain it, right? So it's all about educating your clients. The inflated price is for the amount of vehicles that we have to bring in from out of city, rental vehicles, temporary workforce, course, all of these kinds of factors that contribute to a higher price. In terms of like a revenue management style approach, I'm going to let Strack handle
I
that.
think we talk about a lot in theory because really the software companies out there really, there's not, I mean, we have a software that will do it by the day. You can do it by the vehicle type, but it's not that robust. And so, my thoughts earlier were, how do we really think about it as a whole and what can we offer? And that was kind of like the utilization model that, I don't know, I was just kind of thinking of. But I would love to see more technology companies really push this further because I think it would really help us.
Well, I think what's important, right? I mean, Matt brings up a good point. If you don't have the technology to support it, right? So let's think about airlines, hotels, rental cars. They have the revenue management process technology and a whole team to manage how they structure rates on a minute-by-minute basis, essentially, right? I mean, I'll tell you, I'll give you a great example. I was booking my flight for this show. I booked it late, so I was on United and saw my airfare. I went on American Express because I was thinking, well, I'll use some points. I went on American Express. The price was displayed the same. I hit submit. The price went up $200 because I had 2 seats saved on my United profile, and I went over to American Express and was booking 2 new seats. So immediately the price went up because the inventory showed 1 less seat per segment. So that's how quickly the technology works. But we don't really have that, though, here in our industry yet. And I think that's where, maybe we as an industry need to talk to our technology people and say, something you got to write in. If it's relevant and everyone seems to think that it is, then our technology has to be responsive to it.
When you look at the keynote, I think the state of the industry, the three presenters up there, they all confirmed that. I think we need it. And so, we would love to have it. It's very basic, but you can deploy now, but it needs to get developed and it needs to be pushed forward.
Any others? Questions? Oh, great.
Hello, Chad Peterson with Renee's Limousines in Minneapolis. First of all, thank you for the great seminar. This has been fantastic. My question is, or I'm looking, I guess, maybe for some advice, with all of the technology platforms that you've mentioned, your Yammer and Zapier and Slack and integrating all these things together, and I'm a relatively small company. I don't have an IT department to research this stuff and then pull it all together. What's your recommendation on a company like mine to really implement these tools?
Well, thank you for the compliment, and appreciate you guys attending.
And welcome to the industry, by the way.
My answer would be get a live chat on your website if you don't have one already. Do you have one? Yeah, get one.
Slack is free. The most basic Slack account is free. So, it can't beat free. Once you start adding in more stuff, then you got to start paying. But, I don't have an IT department. You don't have.
I don't have an IT. That's me.
Yeah. So, we're doing these things ourselves. In this industry, we're Jacks of all trades, Jack and Jills of all trades, right? So, I've implemented Slack on our own internally for free.
Yeah, we're running it free too. The live chat, I say live chat because a lot of these live chat bots are able to then integrate, right? So if you get Salesforce down the road, you can integrate with it. You can integrate with a ticketing system like Freshdesk or any other help desk too. So I would start there. And you got people that are on your website, they're looking at your website, and if they have a question, right now, if you don't have it, they're not calling. Chances are they're not calling. But if there's a chat bot, they might go, do you guys have SUVs? Do you guys have buses? Do you have this? Do you have that? And it's just simple questions. I think it's just less friction. When I say that, just the easier use of being able to communicate in a chat is just, I use it when I'm on a site. I'd rather chat
Oh,
than call.
my wife uses it all the time on Amazon. I mean, you know, where's the package? It came in wrong. I need a refund. All this kind of stuff. Oh, well, yeah, she's a shopaholic too, but that's besides the point. I mean, but you know, it comes in damaged. I mean, she processed a whole refund just on live chat with Amazon one time.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Do it all. Johnny.
Johnny.
Hey, Johnny Baker from Motive Transportation in Los Angeles. I am a prehistoric dinosaur in this industry. That's what they tell me. And say a little bit more about that, the events thing you're doing. You say you go online and create the events like Coachella.
Oh, okay, like the shuttle share. Okay,
yeah.
so I'm currently making one right now for the football games. Okay, so you know, in my market, LA, USC, UCLA, Rams, Chargers, right? So I can take so what I'm doing is, for instance, you know, there's a Amtrak station where the pickup point is at 11 a.m. for a 1 o'clock game, selling the bus ticket for $20 per person. With my software company, I can create all this, get a URL, create a landing page, right, that has book now, okay? Put an ad on Facebook to market it. People go, oh, wow, I want to go to the USC game, and it's only $20 each way or $40 round trip. Sure. And they click the link, goes right to the engine, that's my back-end software, queues it in for $20 each way, and it's scheduled, right? And so now I have a booking for one passenger for $40 round trip. And as it starts to queue in, and maybe I only have, you know, 8 passengers, maybe I have 120 passengers, whatever it is, then I can decide, oh, I only have 8, I'm going to send a van. Oh, I have 56, I'll send a motor. Oh, I need 2 motors, so I got 110. I can do that, and the software will enable that, and then, you know, execute it.
So
That's live technology right now that your software company should do. I mean, we're all getting buses, right? Why not deploy it?
And a lot of times you can increase your revenue because if you can sell incrementally, you know, let's say the normal charter one way is, I want to make this.
$1,000.
Yeah, $1,000, but you're putting a 50 passenger bus and you're selling each seat at $50, right? So now you've just 2.5x your revenue on that bus. Plus, then you're still going to get the return. So now you've still 2.5x, right? So, I mean, you can sell at a higher price on a micro level than trying to charge a full price for, like the full price for the bus. Does
charter.
that make sense? Yeah. So.
And in some states, you know, like California, you have to actually have a different license to sell individual seats. Right? So you have to look kind of around the regulation. Of course, that's California, right? But, you know, I don't know, your state might be a little bit different, but take a look at it. And I think it's a great way, like Matt's saying, it's a profitable way. You know, it's some days, maybe some games I sell out the whole bus, maybe some's not, you know, not that much, but then I send a smaller vehicle and you kind of are able to shift that way.
Yep.
We have one final question. Just a reminder to everyone, the show floor opens at 11, and we have brunch on the show floor.
Good morning. My name is Chris Ayers. I'm with A-List Limousine Chicago. I have basically 2 questions. I'm going to make one quick. Google Live Chat. What do you think about that?
I don't have experience with Google Live Chat. I've heard of Google Hangouts.
Yeah.
And Google obviously is a great platform and very expandable to many different apps and plugins and all that good stuff. Are you using it?
I am. I've used it for several years, and it seems to work well.
Yeah, no, we use Google Hangouts actually as well until I learned about some of this stuff. We video conference both of our offices together for staff meetings, and we use Google Hangouts. It's a phenomenal product.
The thing that I liked about the live chat that I use, it has a ticketing system behind it. So the agents are logged in, and on one platform, which is a dashboard that you download to each workstation, they have the tickets, they have the live chats, they have, you know, and then you can integrate, like I said, Facebook Messenger into that live chat, Instagram direct message, and others that go right into that. So that's kind of, I like that platform for my business a little more. I'm not sure what Google Live Chat has the capabilities if it has a ticketing system.
It does not, that I know of. So that leads to the second question. As Johnny said, we're kind of older than the millennials, and so just hearing some of this stuff that you've talked about is just kind of makes my head swim around that I didn't even know was out here. How do you keep up with what's out here to keep up with technology?
How do you keep up? You got to learn from each other. I mean, honestly, you know, we all started our calls, and I'm like, wait, Slack does this, Slack does that. I mean, so you have to learn. I mean, really, for me, I mean, my own personal opinion here, you got to learn from each other, because you could just spend hours and hours and hours of researching things that you could implement. Ask people, just like Reza did. Ask his court. You know, he found out about Yammer as well about the same time I did. You know, I found out from my corporate clients about Yammer. He found out about Yammer from his corporate clients.
You're right. It's always changing, and it's just communication amongst us all, really, to see what's happening. But it's tough to keep up on. It really is. I guess, you know, if you have children, look at your children and see what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're done, but you got a quick question?
Well,
Yeah,
we'll take one more, just one more, real quick, and I'll repeat it. Well, okay, they want to do Mike. Hold on one second for me, but sorry.
Who got the question?
Here he comes.
Thank you. And this is the last question.
Justin Meals, Blue Chip Executive Services, Denver. To Chris's question, you know, how we keep up with these things, and so much is changing, and some of us are newer, and some of us are longer in the tooth in the business, and so we become set in our ways. Is there certain peer groups that you are a part of, or that you recommend that us as, or you as industry leaders recommend that we go to, that we can get that information in a more concise way, as opposed to ringing you up on the phone one day hoping to talk to you about what you do?
I mean, I'll give you my email address. It's Matt, M-A-T-T. If you guys want to write it down. If you have any questions, please email me. Simply Matt, M-A-T-T, at strackground.com. Sorry, it's not up there, but Matt at strackground.com. Feel free to email me. It's a good idea for us to create a group. You know, I'm in a group, a peer group with other owners, and I know a lot of you are as well. And so those are conversations that we have, kind of about technology, what's new, what's happening. But it'd be great to kind of create that, or even on a Slack group too.
Yeah,
You'd have to get
that's a great
Slack
idea.
and adopt that, right? But you know, it's a great idea. I mean, to really keep up on it, and things are always changing. It's so fast, right? So it's great.
Yep.
So nothing. I don't have an answer for you, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But email me. Yeah,
Email.
we'll start one.
Slack us. Find us on Slack.
We've just started one.
So we want to thank, again, Fast Track as our education sponsor, and Buffalo Limousine as the coffee sponsor.